This relaxation exercise is called mindfulness. Settle down in a chair, making yourself as comfortable as best you can. Allowing your gaze to be soft and somewhat unfocused if your eyes are open. At any point, you can close your eyes if you want to. Bringing your awareness to how you're sitting in the chair and where your body makes contact with the chair. Where on your body do you notice contact with the chair? What do you notice about it? Maybe adjusting your body so that you're sitting with your legs uncrossed and feet flat on the floor. Now, maybe noticing the backs of your legs resting against the chair and the bones at the bottom of your pelvis, the so-called sitting bones, providing a stable base on the chair. Your lower and middle back can be supported by the back of the chair, and you're sitting upright but not stiff. Allowing your shoulders to relax down away from your ears and gently guiding your chest to be a little bit lifted. Your head is centered. It's balanced comfortably between your shoulders. Allowing the crown of your head to point toward the ceiling and your chin to lower slightly. And taking a few moments to get in touch with the movement of your breath and the sensations in the body. Bringing your awareness to the physical sensations of how your breath is coming into the body. Notice how your breath comes in through the nostrils, past the back of the throat, down into the lungs, and notice how it goes out. As you breathe in and the air moves into your lungs, your chest lifts slightly and your belly may balloon out, making room for more air to fill the bottom of the lungs. And as you breathe out, your belly goes back in toward the spine like you've let the air out of a small balloon, and your lungs gently release the air back out through the back of your throat and out the nose. Just take a few minutes to feel the sensations as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Noticing your breath come in and go out like a gentle ebb and flow of a tide, rising and falling away with each breath. There's no need to try to control the breath in any way. Just paying attention and watching the breath as it comes in and goes out. And experimenting with also bringing this viewpoint of observing without trying to control the experience to the rest of this practice. There's nothing that needs fixing while you practice. There's no particular state to be achieved. Simply experimenting with allowing your experience to be your experience without needing it to be anything other than it is. You're simply being an observer, paying attention in a way that we don't usually do. Continuing to focus your attention on all the little details of breathing in and breathing out, over and over again, without needing to change it in any way. And sooner or later, usually sooner, your mind will wander away from the focus on the breath to thoughts, to planning, to daydreams, to drifting along, whatever. This is perfectly okay. It's simply what our minds do. It's not a mistake or a failure. When you notice that your awareness is no longer on the breath, notice what captured your attention, and then gently bring your awareness back to a focus on the changing pattern of physical sensations, the breath, paying attention to the ongoing in-breath and the ongoing out-breath, like the ebb and flow of a gentle tide. And if you find yourself getting sleepy, just note that and bring your focus back to the breath. You may want to experiment with opening your eyes, allowing your gaze to be soft and unfocused. And if you find yourself feeling an emotion, maybe boredom or sadness or calm or irritation, just note that. And then gently bring your awareness back to the breath over and over again. And now, allowing your focus of attention to expand around the breath to include a sense of the physical sensations throughout the whole body. You're still aware of the movements of the breath, but that awareness recedes to the background as you shift your focus of attention to an awareness of the physical sensations where the body makes contact with the chair, the sensations of touch, pressure, or contact of the feet with the floor, the buttocks with whatever supports them, the hands where they rest on the thighs or on each other. You might also become aware of other sensations in your body that call for your attention. Could be an itch or a tickle. Could be an ache that you haven't been aware of before sitting quietly. Or it could be a painful sensation that you deal with on a daily basis. For now, experimenting with simply observing this sensation and noticing what happens. Does the physical sensation take on a different quality? Does it go away? Does it grow in intensity? Are thoughts or emotions tied to the sensation? Experimenting with simply observing the sensation and maybe becoming aware of the separation of the sensation from the thought that labels it, or the emotion that may come along with it. If, as you're observing a sensation, say an itch, you decide to scratch the itch, that's perfectly okay. Go ahead and make whatever adjustment you need to make, a scratch or a shift in posture, whatever you need to do to be kind to your body at this particular moment in time. And then, as you gently allow your focus of attention on physical sensations to fade into the background, bring your attention to any sounds inside or outside the room. Notice, as you focus your attention on sounds, that you may become aware of noises you hadn't noticed before paying attention to them. Notice that you might be attracted to particular sounds and judging other sounds to be unpleasant, maybe wishing for certain sounds to go away or be different in some way. And just noticing these judgments about the sounds and experimenting with letting the judgments go and focusing your attention on the sound itself, as if the noise were just sound waves with no particular meaning. And noticing where your focus of attention is right now, simply noting that and letting it go. And maybe bringing your attention to any thoughts that are floating through your mind, knowing that our minds are very busy with all kinds of thoughts. It's as if our mind is a superhighway for thoughts. So our minds will naturally drift in and out of thinking. Just noticing what thoughts you might be having right now, how certain thoughts might grab for your attention, sweeping you along that superhighway. Just noting the thought, and then experiment with letting it go. Maybe refocusing your attention on the in-breath and the out-breath, riding the ebb and flow of the breath. And then maybe noticing that your mind has wandered onto a thought or feeling, noting it, and gently bringing your focus of attention back to the breath. As we get practice with observing our thoughts instead of judging them, we realize that thoughts and emotions are pretty short-lived. They come and they go unless we get swept up into the thought superhighway and are carried along for a while. And then with this practice, we begin to notice when that happens and just continue experimenting with letting the thought go as we bring our focus of attention back to the breath over and over and over again. Maybe even noting that our thoughts are really just discharges that the brain makes. When we view our thoughts this way, it sort of takes the emotional punch out of some of the things that we get hung up on. It's as if you're sitting on the side of the thought superhighway and watching thoughts and emotions and sensations come and go like little cars going by. When you notice that you've been taken for a ride on one of the thoughts or emotions or sensations, that you're being carried down the highway, simply noting that and bringing yourself back to the side of the road, observing and watching the thoughts and emotions and sensations pass by. This is a new way to deal with experiences that have a strong pull on our awareness. As we come to the last few minutes of this practice, wherever your attention is right now, simply bring your focus back to your breathing. Focus on the fullness of the in-breath and the fullness of the out-breath. Maybe noticing any thoughts or emotions about this practice session coming to an end. Maybe relief or impatience. Maybe disappointment. Maybe a tendency to judge what you've just done, as if there's a right or a wrong way to do this. Simply note what's going on through your mind as you become aware that you're nearing the end of the sitting, and then let those thoughts or emotions float on by as you sit on the side of the thought superhighway, simply observing your breath. And when you're ready, bringing your awareness back into the room where you are sitting, maybe rolling your shoulders a little bit, taking a little stretch, wiggling your fingers and toes, and then opening your eyes, finished with the experiment of observing for now, but knowing that you can come back to it as you teach your body and your mind to pay attention in a different way than we are typically used to doing.